All right, why don't we go ahead and get going? My name's Jeff. I'm the director of the Hello Burlington Destination Marketing Initiative. It's interesting to me. Usually, when we do these webinars, they're very hospitality industry heavy. And this is the first time we've had this broad of a mix of professional backgrounds, which I think probably speaks to the significance and importance of this particular issue, the artificial intelligence that we'll be talking about today. As a team, Hello Burlington's been leaning into and looking into AI tools for probably 18 months now, 12 months, something like that. And we've been using ChatGPT quite a bit. Just installed a new chatbot on our website, helloburlingtonvt.com. And would love to have anybody go tinker with that and ask it some questions if you have some free time and interest. That'd be super helpful to us. But I think what we've really realized looking forward, in particular to us in the travel industry, is that artificial intelligence is going to be uh, a complete game changer in the travel decision making space, which is why we felt compelled to sort of embark on testing and trialing new tools, implementing them where we can, as well as sort of leveraging expertise like that of Mike Lannen of Eternity Web, just to stay on top of our competition. As a small destination and a small organization, we know we're never ever going to go toe to toe on budget with a lot of our bigger, deeper pocketed competitors. So we really look at this as a way to stay agile and get the most out of every single employee and every single task that we possibly can. And I won't go on and on, but I do feel strongly, Mike Lannen. I think the first AI session I saw with you, Mike, was probably 3 years ago at the
Yep.
Vermont Tourism Summit, if I'm not mistaken. So Mike's been on top of this subject from maybe not day one, but what feels like day one to the average layperson. And we're really, really excited to have him back here to talk about this. And I think the stuff he'll walk you through is in no way specific to the hospitality industry. So everybody from every background should be able to learn a couple new tips, a couple new tricks, and maybe understand the toolkit as it exists today, and probably grasp the fact that it's going to be a different toolkit in about 30 days and every 30 days from here to eternity, it feels like. So without further ado, let me kick it over to Mike Lannen from Eternity Web. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jeff. And welcome everybody to the AI Advantage. Today we're going to be talking about some simple strategies to optimize your website, but also your business and operations. So a little bit about me. Like Jeff said, I'm the founder of a firm called Eternity, located in Burlington. Primarily, we're a website design and digital agency. But like Jeff mentioned, I've been speaking and educating on AI for about 3 or 4 years now, which it might not be day one, but possibly like day two of most of the AI side of things. I'm also a husband, a dad, a Lego nerd. If you talk to me for more than 5 minutes, you'll realize that I've drank every last drop of AI Kool-Aid. And I'm always designing something. I also have what's called ADHD, which is a combination between autism and ADHD, which most of my life I suffered with, but have found ways to shift that mindset to thrive because it comes with a lot of advantages with the right mindset. Speaking of anxiety, if you have AI anxiety, we've got you. We've implemented it into pretty much every portion of our operations and always trying to find ways to work with our clients, how they can integrate it into every aspect of their both business and even personal lives. We're a team of 10 located in Burlington, and everybody is located in Vermont. So what's on the agenda today? We're going to kind of just level the playing field a little bit for anybody that's kind of a real newcomer to AI, just to quickly talk about on a top level. Then we're going to hop right into some live demos and some things that you might not know that you can do with some AI tools, and then specifically how you can put it to work and really start actually using these tools and using them the most efficient way. So you don't just digest this information and then let it flow out your brain. You can actually put it to work today. And just some quick housekeeping. At the end of the presentation, you can send me a text and I'll send you the entire slide deck with all the notes, resources, links. You're not added to any kind of spam or automatic newsletter list. Just send me a text and I'll send you the full slide deck. And feel free to interrupt me throughout. I'll have some kind of scheduled breaks, if you will, for questions. But feel free to pop a note inside the chat or unmute and ask a question. You don't have to wait until the end. All right. So to kind of get things kicked off, I always love to take kind of a quick temperature check and see who has used ChatGPT or some sort of AI tool, whether it be like Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT. If you have used one, if you just want to pop in yes into the chat. If you've used none of these tools, just say no. We'd love to just kind of see what folks are using. All right, seeing a lot of yeses. Couple no's. GPT and Gemini are top two, Armando. Right on. Nice. So an overwhelmingly large amount of yeses. When I was speaking on this about 3-ish years ago, really kind of before ChatGPT was even like a household name, it was a lot of no's. And to be honest, I was like, all right, am I just up here talking about something that's going to be a fad and go away? Obviously, it has not. All right, so what is AI? I think we've all have worked with AI in some way, fashion, or another. Even if you haven't used like the newer tools, the generative tools like ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini, you likely have interfaced with what I kind of call it the dumber AIs, like Siri and Amazon and Google, like OK Google and things like that. But you can't really have a conversation with them. You can't follow up on questions. They can't really generate anything for you. What's different now, and just some of the tools that are on here, which make up like 11 billion of the different AI tools, you can create photos, create music, analyze data, do research, and it's the worst it will ever be right now. It's just going to keep getting better and smarter. And on that, I think we're really kind of in an AI revolution right now. We all learned in history class about the Industrial Revolution, the Electrical Revolution, the information technology kind of revolution, where we're taking everything out of filing cabinets and putting into spreadsheets. We're now in the artificial intelligence revolution, and you cannot open up your phone, turn on the news, read a newspaper without seeing some sort of AI headline. I work in it every single day, and it's overwhelming for me to keep up with this stuff. I don't think it's going anywhere. I akin it mostly to when the internet first came out. There were many folks that were kind of hesitant to use it and kind of gripped with a death grip onto their fax machine and other forms of analog kind of technologies. But I think you really have to embrace it in some way if you're going to thrive in this current revolution. It also reminds me a little bit of the kind of the browser wars, if you will. Dating myself here, but if anybody remembers like Netscape Navigator and America Online, there was this time where there was such a battle for using a particular browser, and you wouldn't really know exactly which one to use. There's many that aren't even on here that no one even knows about because they didn't make it. And it's somewhat difficult to kind of pick, should I use ChatGPT? Should I use Gemini? Should I use Claude? I usually describe it as there's going to be an AI tool for just about every kind of particular task. So there might not be one that does everything perfectly. And there's many different types of AI. You have predictive AI models. Think about like weather forecasts and things of that nature. Generative AI, which are like the ChatGPTs and Claudes and Geminis. Conversational AI, where you can talk to it verbally and it talks back to you verbally. And then what is more kind of at the cutting edge and where AI is going is what's called agentic AI or agents or operators, where you can give it a task and it will control your mouse, control your keyboard, and fully do that particular task for you. That technology exists right now, today. It's not as accessible price-wise for everyone, but it will be, and it's going to change the game. So all that being said, does this mean that robots are going to take over the world and take over our jobs and enslave us at some point? I don't think so yet. We have the ability to control that a little bit. I think humans will probably get us there farther, faster than AI itself. But I always like to take kind of a quick temperature check as well, just to see what folks' feelings are on AI. So if you think that AI is going to end humanity 100%, no reservations at any point in time, I would love you to pop into the chat and say 100%. If you think 75%, et cetera, et cetera. And if you think 0%, like that we're completely safe, would love to just get a quick poll from folks. Good amount of 75%. Always interested to see if there's somebody that's 0 that thinks we're safe. There's usually one person. I myself am at 100%. I think may take some time, but we'll get there in not a good way. That being said, to look at it on a more positive note, whatever you dislike doing, AI is going to be good or pretty great at it, and it's just going to keep getting better and better. And a recent study that came out stated that the average employee who uses these generative AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, etc., on average saves 1.75 hours per day. And that's just average. I myself save a lot more time than that because I have it implemented into almost every single one of my tasks. But it's one of the first pieces of technology, in my opinion, that can help you gain time back rather than suck all of your time away. So comparing it a little bit to, I know I'm a digital marketer, but social media, uh, it on its surface, it's basically kind of primed to suck time away and get you to look at that screen more. AI tools, when used correctly, can give you more time back. So you could be spending more time working with customers or guests or going outside or literally anything else. All right, before we dive in deeper now, any initial top level questions, thoughts, concerns for humanity? Emily, I see you're okay with being part of the collective consciousness. All right. So what can AI be used for? Pretty much everything, but we're going to talk about a couple of initial uses right now. I think the most kind of low-hanging fruit use for ChatGPT in AI tools is marketing content. Even those that are marketing professionals probably have days where they're not really wanting to write something or put something together, and it can be an assistant. So ChatGPT, for anybody that has not used it yet, is really just a chat-based interface to talk to this system. It's software, but so much more. The pro and the con of this like easy text-based system is there's not really like a book for how to talk to it. So you kind of have to learn as you go. But we're going to go over a lot of ways that you can get the most out of it today. On that, ChatGPT specifically has a free version and a couple of different paid versions. I would love to do another just really quick poll inside the chat. If you're using the free version, please type in free. If you're using a paid version, type in paid. My kind of best description of the free versus paid is the free version is kind of like an unpaid high school intern, and the paid version is like a infinite PhD in everything. So if you've used the free version and kind of written it off as sounding generic or not working exactly the way that you like, that's kind of like sometimes, not to pick on interns, but like working with an intern, you're going to have to course correct things a lot and fix a lot of mistakes. The paid version has so many advantages that we'll be going over today, including being able to train it on your own data, create custom GPTs, some enhanced security, and so much more. And there's also a Teams version. A team only has to be at least 2 people, but that version lets you share all of your knowledge together in one central place. So just wanted to kind of talk about those different versions because some folks are not privy to it. And there's a slide here, if you download it at the end, that talks about all the different versions. On that and on security, this is the thing that I'd like to show everybody for the first time using these tools. This animated GIF here just kind of goes over the steps to do this. But by default, the free version of ChatGPT that EULA agreement, that legal agreement that you scroll through and do not read and click submit and I agree, states that you're giving permission to take any of the data that you put inside here, and OpenAI, the company that made ChatGPT, can basically do whatever they want with it and train their model and make it better and better. That might not give you the best warm, fuzzy feeling. Um, Even the paid version. So for the folks that are inside the paid version, by default, that is enabled. You've given them permission to do that with your data. If you, though, go into settings, data controls, and turn off the super warm and fuzzy, improve the model for everyone, you want to turn that feature off, at least in my opinion, to keep your data safer and to not be sending it back into their training model. So you can do that in both the paid and the free version of ChatGPT. There's also 11 billion other different pieces of AI software. So you might be wondering, like, how do I do this inside Gemini or LinkedIn or Claude or Copilot or all of them? Uh, all of them have an agreement that says by default, they can take whatever you put into it. In the slide notes on this slide, it has steps to turn off that feature for all those pieces of software, just so you can make sure your data is safe and secure. Some other things that you can do that I find a lot of folks not knowing where it is called customized ChatGPT. So this also lives under settings, and it gives you the ability to control the output, to use or not use particular words inside outputs. You can give your ChatGPT a personality or a name if you wish. This is available in all the versions, but I find most folks not really going over into that top right-hand corner and clicking around. Please do click around and try out some of those settings. Also located up there is an option called memory. Memory basically works in a way where every time you have a conversation with ChatGPT, it will kind of selectively pick particular things that it might remember about you that it can use for future conversations. So it gets smarter and smarter and knows more about you, your writing style, or particular things. You may or may not want to do that, so you can turn that feature on or off. I personally basically traded all of my privacy and security for convenience a very long time ago with digital marketing and media. So I have chosen to give it basically everything about me, where I travel, about my family, my food allergies, things that I like. So if I'm ever having a conversation with it, it knows me better than I know me. Not recommending that necessarily to everybody, so choose that as you wish. You can also train it on your knowledge, and I find this as probably the most under utilized feature that when I'm chatting with folks about ChatGPT. And if you don't give it information about you or about your organization, it's going to make things up. It's going to hallucinate and lie and fill in the blanks. It wants to give you an output, and if you don't give it enough information about you, it will just make those things up. So if you have what's called like a brand copy document or a tone document, or even just background information about your business, you can take that PDF or that Google Doc and drag it right into a conversation and have it know more about you. If you don't have a document like that, we've got you. Inside the slide deck, there's a link to what we call our brand copy document builder with our personified ChatGPT called Janet. And you can use this inside the free version as well. And it will guide you through a bunch of different questions to learn more information about your business and then create that brand copy document for you. For sake of time, I'm not going to go through and answer all those questions. I'm just going to tell Janet that I'm in a session right now. I can't answer all your questions. So please just pull some information from me from the Hello Burlington website. And just to kind of show you what that will look like, if you choose to use this yourself, it'll search the web. It goes into its knowledge information that we've built and starts building a brand copy document with brand overview, brand positioning, vision, mission. It's pulling all this from multiple pages all throughout the Hello Burlington website on their About page and everywhere else. And brand values, core values, brand archetype. It just keeps going on and on. we have built this very custom, what's called a GPT, a custom GPT, that I'll show you in a moment how you can build your own. So I didn't have to give it this long-winded prompt of give me an output that has all this stuff. I literally just pasted in a website and it did this. And it will always do this exact same output. So I'll show you how you can do this very easily today. But if you don't have one of these brand copy documents, highly recommend using our free tool to create one. And then you can copy and paste this content out into a Word document, alter it as needed, and use that to inform new content that you create so it sounds like you, references information about you, and doesn't hallucinate. All right, any questions on that brand copy document before we pop into building these GPTs and how they work? Feel free to pop those into the chat if they come up. All right, so on that, prompting is super important. I'm going to show you under the hood of that brand copy document in a moment of what that prompt looks like because it's huge. But not everybody knows how to communicate with this technology. And a prompt is basically just how you chat with it, kind of garbage in, garbage out. If you give it a one-sentence prompt and it doesn't already have information about you, it's going to make stuff up, it's going to be generic, and it's going to sound like a beep boop robot chat GPT, and you're just going to want to throw it away. So we have a framework that we highly recommend following called the RISE framework, and that stands for Role, Instructions, Steps, and Examples. And it's basically creating an outline of how you communicate with this technology. So to show you what that kind of looks like in its longest form, a role basically assigning it what you want it to kind of assimilate. In this example, I said an SEO-friendly blog content writer, so like a content writer. Instructions of what you want it to do, steps, kind of breaking down at a sub-level what you want it to do, and then examples of things that you might want it to accomplish. If coming up with that kind of large framework of things sounds overwhelming, I don't blame you. And we also have another totally free custom GPT that we've built called Prompt GPT. So if you have a rough idea that you want to create a GPT and a prompt for helping you come up with social posts, and you don't want to write that long-winded prompt, in this example, I just said, I'd like a prompt for helping me plan ideas for my Facebook posts for Hello Burlington. And I'm just going to hit enter on this. And it will go through and it will start to create that RISE framework for you. So you can then take this and pop that in as a prompt. And this is going to be a lot of content inside here, likely longer than you traditionally might do a prompt, but it's going to get you to the finish line faster, and you're going to have to course correct stuff a lot less. So this is kind of going through here, doing the role, instructions, steps, examples. And once that finishes, you can copy and paste that into a prompt and get a lot better output out of it. And also kind of gives you practice on how to create these prompts. All right, so what is a custom GPT? You've been hearing me say GPT a lot and custom GPT. So I'll show you under the hood of this existing one just by going to edit this GPT. And this is what it looks like very quickly behind the scenes. There's no code, there's no tech. It's literally like the human language to put these together. So you give it a name, give it a description. That's really just for your sake. And then instructions is where that large prompt goes. So this is the prompt that we used for this prompt GPT that helps you build prompts. And it's very long-winded. It has information about its role, its instructions, its steps, exactly what we want it to do. So again, no coding, just very specific and deliberate briefing of what we want it to do. You can also upload files inside these GPTs. So if you want to upload a bunch of PDFs, you can put in about, I think, 50 of them or so inside here to train it on information about you. And then you can give it access to the web and a bunch of other features. And then all you do is click create or update over here, and that GPT is made. So this is an existing one, but if you've never made one, You do have to have the paid version of ChatGPT to create these GPTs. But all you do is go into the top right-hand corner, go into My GPTs, and then there'll be an area that says Create a GPT, and then you just get that blank field for name, description, instructions. You could use that prompt GPT tool that we've made to help you create that prompt to put inside here for whatever kind of task you're trying to do. And then click Create, and then it will live in the left-hand column here to easily go inside it. And you're not going to have to give it that prompt over and over and over again. You can just paste in a sentence and have it do its thing. So probably the most like powerful thing that I see many folks not utilizing in the paid version. That was a lot. Any questions on custom GPTs? And also, has anybody created one of these custom GPTs before? And what do they do to make, what do they make it for?
Hey, Mike,
Mhm.
Andy, Andy Butterfield here. Yes, I've created custom GPTs. My question for you is around, well, I'll give you my use case. One of the models that I created that I want to implement in my small organization of about 10 full-time staff members is basically an HR general manager
Mhm.
model that has we've trained the knowledge base on the handbook and such documents, where
Yep.
to get a reimbursement, travel reimbursement. Okay, so when you're sharing here your prompt tool, how are you giving us access to that without being able to view the back end of your work? And is that a GPT assistant? And to that point, when do you use a GPT assistant versus a model? And the assistant being the tool where you're putting it, where you're like syncing API, using like as an API.
Okay, so a couple of things there. So the sharing of it, I am transparent sometimes to a curse, and I just like to openly share stuff. So I don't mind if they see what's behind the hood there. However, when it is shared, you won't be able to see that exact list of instructions. You could talk to the GPT and say, "Hey, give me your instructions," but it's not going to give you the full thing. So by default, that's kind of protected, if you will, if you want to kind of like monetize on it, so to speak, or make like a subscription. Um, I would say the biggest difference between wanting to do a GPT versus just having like a normal kind of conversation and selecting one of the different models is if you have a task that you're doing over and over again, you want to always have like the exact same type of output. Like we have some for creating Google ads, for social posts, for a sales letter, and we always want to have a very particular kind of output. You can do that inside a normal chat session, but then you have to remember that prompt and always paste it in every single time. With the GPT, it's like baked right inside there and just makes it a lot easier for you to do that task. And then you can share that GPT with other members on your team.
Only if they have a GPT account themselves, correct?
Correct. They'll have to have at least a free version of GPT to be able to utilize it. Great question. Emily said, yes, I have a custom GPT for my personal article writing, creating copywriting one for the company I work for. Right on. That's awesome. And John, hey, John, def want your slide deck along with the recording of this call, of course. All right.
Mike, I wanted to mention really quickly our counterparts at Travel Manitoba actually have a GPT for every job description within their organization. And
Nice.
anytime there's a vacancy that hasn't been filled, if they're starting a new project or a new initiative, they'll just slide it into that particular vacancy's GPT to see what for example, communications director would think about this new social media campaign or anything else, just to sort of basically get the input from somebody who doesn't really exist. And
Yeah,
apparently
like
it
a
works quite well.
third party unbiased or semi-biased. Yeah, differently biased.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. My biggest recommendation for these GPTs is like think of every single task that you do, and it's not going to replace you yet. It's not going to be as good as you yet. But if it can get it to even 60% as good in 15 seconds, that's going to save you time and may shave that off that total goal, especially for stuff like job descriptions and tedious stuff that there's a lot of really bad job descriptions out there, and GPT can help you fill in the gaps to bring on better people. So speaking of other models, there are many different what are called models inside ChatGPT. I also find many folks not knowing that these exist either. So in the top kind of left-hand corner of GPT, you'll see a drop down here with all these different models. And there's GPT 4.0, 4.0 scheduled tasks, 4.5, O1, O3 mini. I did not name these. Engineers that are not good at marketing named them. Over the next month or two, all of these various different model dropdowns, most of them are going to go away as dropdowns as what's called GPT-5 comes out, and it's automatically going to switch the model for you. So that being said, one of the models that's currently inside there is called projects. It's really more like a feature than a model, I suppose. But in the left-hand side of GPT, you can scroll down and there's an area for projects. You can create a new project. Basically, think of projects like a smart folder. You can create a folder, and then whatever conversations you have stay within that organized folder. You can give it custom instructions and kind of a prompt inside there, if you will. So think of it a bit like building a custom GPT, but in a more folder-like structure, and all of your conversations stay in one place. You can load in like 20 or so documents, I think, inside these as well, and just gives you the ability to organize stuff a little bit better. There's also a model called GPT 4.0 with Canvas. GPT 4.0 with Canvas is kind of like Google Docs and ChatGPT had a baby. So by default, when you use ChatGPT, it just gives you text output. You can't edit it. You can't change it. You have to keep having a conversation and changing things. But with Canvas, if you select that mode, it brings up this kind of iterative experience that's like Google Docs, where you can take that output, change a heading, select a paragraph and say, make this into bullets instead, select the whole entire thing and change the grade level or the reading level. Super powerful. Again, I found most folks just not clicking on these options. It's not your fault. It's not super intuitive in there. Another one, this is a newer one. It's called Deep Research. And some of these models and features are only available inside the paid version. They slowly will kind of trickle them down to the free plan. But if you want to try these out kind of immediately, the paid version is how to do it. So Deep Research, this is, I think, going to be what takes AI to the next level. So normally in ChatGPT, you pop in a conversation, you give it a prompt, and like 3 seconds later, it comes back with a response. Deep Research will take anywhere from like 2 to like 30 minutes. And you might be like, why would I want to wait that long? Well, in this example, I asked it to kind of just scour the web and give me a list of some upcoming conferences for travel and tourism. It took a full 7 minutes, went to 28 different websites, read through all of those websites, pulled out the example or pulled out the title of the conference, the link to the conference, and the dates. So for me to do that would take me much longer than 7 minutes to put all that together. And you could do this for all sorts of research, and then it's backed by cited sources, so you can go take a look at that. You also get to watch it think, which is like equal parts awesome and equal parts creepy. It'll say, let me see, this gallery on Travel Pulse could be blocked or something needs special access. It probably has like a password or something like that. But you get to watch it go through and think through the entire process. So that's deep research. Not to be confused with deep research, search is an option that's in both the free and the paid version. And this is similar, but just much quicker. It doesn't take like 7 minutes in deep research. But if you want to think of this as kind of like a Google search built within GPT, and I just typed in like, what are some fun things to do this weekend? Boom, it comes up with those lists of things and kind of summarizes them. You can also use this as a way to figure out like if you are showing up inside results as more and more people will start using AI tools to further SEO and kind of research. On that, I've got a couple tips for you guys on how to rank for AI engines, at least all the things that I and other professionals know to date. Maybe not a secret, but like most SEO is just based off of trial and error, experiments. Usually there's not like a guidebook that comes out from Google that says do these exact things. And that's kind of where we're at right now with AI as well. However, if you've done a Google search in the past like couple years, you started to see these AI overviews. They're also inside Bing as well. And for better or for worse, because they certainly have kind of gotten off to a rocky start with hallucinating some really wonky things in the beginning, it's getting better and better. And kind of the gift and the pro and the con of this is you're going to see organic traffic to your websites potentially go down. And not potentially, you will be seeing it go down as people can get answers to certain questions. But if you even want like a chance of showing up as one of these cited sources within that, there's a couple things that you can follow to do so. Number one, building a positive brand reputation. A lot of these techniques I'm going to share with you are mostly the same techniques for like regular SEO, but I find a lot of folks just like not necessarily doing all of them. So having a positive brand reputation, this means checking out like your TripAdvisor, your Yelp, your Facebook, your Google, making sure that folks are giving you reviews, responding to those reviews, and using that as a way to show up higher in the engines organically. But when you chat with these AI tools, it looks at more than just your website. If you type in like the best place to shop or the best place to dine, it's going to be looking at these review sites. So it might be time to consider getting like a sponsored listing on those areas. So you might be higher up in those databases when AI does those searches. It could also be time to take a look at the content that's on your site and make it much more conversational. You can chat with these AI tools and AI systems and even like the voice kind of AI systems in a much more conversational manner. Whereas time goes on, people aren't always going to just be like pizza near me, hotel near me. They may be more like, I'd like a Northern Vermont, luxury hotel, or like a hotel in Southern Vermont that's, near a lake, like a much more kind of conversational, long-term search result or search query. So making sure your content is kind of more focused on intent rather than keywords, because AI can understand pretty much all context and intent now. So I would not really like worry about chasing down the rabbit hole of keywords and more focus on making it very human friendly and conversational. AI also loves frequently asked questions. So if you can find a place to kind of naturally put that into your site in various sections where it's very clearly like, this is an FAQ, here's the question, here's the answer. That's one of like the quickest ways to show up inside these AI summary results on Google. And then this is getting a little bit more inside the tech side of things. So you may need to chat with your developer about this. But there's something called structured data markups or schema. Again, I don't make up these names, but basically it's kind of behind the scenes coding that talks about your particular location, where you are, your phone number, what kind of amenities you might have if you're in travel and tourism. But you could also do this for any kind of a business. Pretty much all AI search and voice search looks at this data. And if you don't have it, you might not show up in that particular result. So if you chat with your developer about structured data markup schema, they will likely know what that is. It might already be on your site, but it might not be, or might not be fully filled out. And then lastly, brand authority building. So not only having like a good positive reputation online with reviews, but trying to get listed on some of these very like top rated sites like TripAdvisor or newspapers and things of that nature. The more of those that you have, the higher chance you're going to show up inside AI results as well, because it's going to see you as more of an authority in that field. And then on that, to kind of track that, there's a way that you can start tracking if you're getting traffic from some of these various AI tools, like Gemini, Perplexity is another popular AI tool now, ChatGPT. Inside the notes of this slide, there's a step-by-step guide that shows you exactly how to go inside your Google Analytics into what's called explorations. And there's a copy and a paste thing that you can pop in with all the various AI tools. I think we have about 10 or so of the main ones inside there. And then over time, you can see what traffic is coming in from those AI search engines and like what actions people took. As you start to see your normal organic traffic go down, you might see that the 300 people that you lost last month to organic, 300 of them came from AI engines like ChatGPT and things like that. So it's not necessarily like dire straits. All right, that was also a lot. Any questions on that? All right, if one comes up, feel free to pop it in. Going to shift gears a little bit to a kind of a quick showdown on a couple of other AI tools. This is probably my new favorite. It is called Cassidy. And think of Cassidy like a mixture between ChatGPT, but with live access to all of your data sources. So by that, I mean it has an interface that's very familiar and similar to ChatGPT with a chat-based interface. But you can give this live access to your Google Docs, to your Microsoft OneDrive, to your CRM, to your HubSpot, to Notion, to Slack, pretty much everything. And whenever that content changes in that third-party source, when you have a conversation with it, it has live access to it. So you could put in all of your sales and customer information inside here and ask it to come up with like a report. You could pop in a lead for a client, pop in their website and a bunch of information and say, give me like a summary on this particular lead and anything and everything in between. So with ChatGPT, it currently doesn't have that ability to do that very easily, where it's given access to live be able to pull that information. You always have to like drag a document inside there, kind of a thing. So if you gave it access to a Google Drive and you put new documents inside that folder, this will always have access to that information, which I think is kind of game changing if you have a lot of really dynamically changing content. It also has the ability to create what are called custom workflows in here. So you can connect this, just try to think of like a random kind of example of something. You could make it so it, once a contact form, is filled out, it comes here into Cassidy, connects to your live database, creates like a response back to that particular person, automatically adds a draft inside your Google Drive or inside your Gmail, and then you can go inside Gmail and review that draft and then send it. All with like point and clicking, no coding or anything. So it's kind of a quick way to start creating what's called like an agent or like agent kind of adjacent workflow to automate stuff. This is probably like my second favorite tool. It's totally free as well. It's called Notebook LM by Google. So if you just Google for Notebook LM, you can log in for free with your Gmail account. And it as well is kind of like a chat GPT in a way where you can have a chat conversation with it. You can load in website URLs, you can load in PDFs, and all sorts of other content. And one of the really cool things you can do with it, though, is have it like summarize that data and do other things. But one of the most cool things you can do about it with it is create an audio podcast with it. And it's not just like a kind of verbatim transcription, of that audio. It actually creates a real-ish sounding podcast. And if I can get the sound to work here, just 1 second. Yeah, live demos never fail. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear this wonderful podcast sample.
All right, let's dive in. Today, we're taking a look at Burlington, Vermont. trying to figure out, is this the place for your next weekend getaway? We've got a couple online guides from Hello Burlington to help us out. I always get the feeling that you love finding those cool, under-the-radar spots. You know, the places with a real personality.
Yeah, for sure. And Burlington seems like it checks those boxes. Just reading about it, you get this sense of city energy, but also like right on the lake, nature, the Green Mountains. Even just visually sounds amazing.
I know, right? I'm picturing myself waterfront, cup of coffee, just taking it all in. Okay, so let's get into these guides and see what's the overall.
So there's obvious tells that it's not like perfectly human sounding yet, but that's the worst it will ever be. And if you looked at that technology like even a month ago or a year ago, it would sound, like, what's her name sounds. I'm not going to say her name because there's like a million speakers around me, but the Amazon thing sounds like. And what they dropped about a week ago was the ability to hop into that conversation. So there's just kind of a little button here that shows the join. That podcast that you were listening to, you can click join, and live those like podcasters, the AI will say, hey, there's a guest on the line. What kind of questions do you have? And you can live conversationally talk. So you could say, hey, what fun things are there to do? Or like, I've got some kids, what events are coming up? You can literally have a conversation with those podcasters instead of having to read information. So should you use this to make a podcast? No. Is this a really cool way to like digest information? And if you learn differently like I do, be able to have like a verbal conversation with it? Yep. Could you use it to inspire like ideas for a podcast and then go make a real one? Certainly. It's like a great way to kind of draft up a potential script for a podcast or an interview, and it's 100% free. All right, next tool as we get close to the end here. This is called Scribe. If you have to create what are called SOPs or standing operating procedures, or basically just like, here's how we do stuff for your business, or you work someplace and you wish they had those, this is a great way to take the chaos and and standardize that. So it's a paid tool, but they do have a free version to try it out. And basically what it lets you do is whatever action that you're taking on your computer, you're moving your mouse and keyboard around, it will watch what you're doing, record that, and then automatically create a step-by-step with screenshots, with an automatic where you clicked and highlights where your mouse clicked, and will create a caption of exactly what you're supposed to do. So in about whatever it takes you to do that particular task, 5 seconds later, it creates this step-by-step procedure. You can then go inside there and tweak a headline if needed, move the mouse pointer if you need to. You can manually drag in a video if you want to have like an accompanying like video with audio. It starts at about $30 a month for one user, but then that one user can take this and share it with 100 people for free. So you could share it, with the entirety of your staff, and it's a great way for onboarding. You can also use this for offline procedures as well. If there's a procedure for like opening and closing the store or whatever that might be, you can use this as a way to kind of centralize all of your stuff. You get a new employee, hop them through this stuff first, and then they can come to you with questions and save time and have something they can revert back to without making mistakes. So really cool tool. In my opinion, it pays for that $30 a month like immediately. And then some other tools that we're used to using every single day for better or for worse, Zoom, Meets, Teams, etc. They all pretty much have AI built into them. And I also have just found folks not knowing that that's there. So Zoom has meeting summary. Google Meet calls it something else. But basically, they all have an ability to record that conversation, transcribe it, come up with action items, and give you like a follow-up to do things. If you just want to have a second brain like I do, it's a really great way to do that. My favorite tool, though, for this, instead of having to learn every single different AI version inside Teams and Zoom, etc., I use this one piece of software called Limitless. It lives inside my toolbar, and I just use that whenever I'm on a call. So it doesn't matter if someone has invited me to a Google Meet and I'm not the host and I don't have the ability to kind of control the AI thing. This records all of that, transcribes it, creates a summary. The part that I like the most about this, however, is it connects to my calendar and my email and has access to all my past conversations and appointments. And before I go into that meeting, it gives me a prep. So it will show that I had a conversation with Jeff last week. We're prepping for the seminar. He has these questions. He's likely going to want to talk about this. It gives me a whole prep before I go into that call, like an agenda, which again is like having a second brain. Okay, and last demo here, the worst possible brand name, but because it's far from bland, but a very cool tool nonetheless. Bland is what's called inbound calling AI. So imagine it like a kind of an answering machine on steroids, and not like the dumb AI bots that we've dealt with in the past, where they can only recognize like one word and there's like particular words that you want to say to it that are not the words looking for, and or like human or agent. This is a very like conversational system, and it gives you a phone number that you can choose to forward your existing phone number to. So when people call your normal number, the AI picks up, and then it could transfer to different extensions or different phone numbers based off of what that person is asking about. And just like ChatGPT, it gives you the ability to give it a personality. You can select different voices. You can give it prompting. This example is for a client of ours in New York called Greek Peak. So we've given access to all the information about the resort, the room types, the amenities, refund policies, pet policies, dining, like everything. So it can answer a lot of those same questions that people get asked over and over and over again. And then it also replaces the like the dial by name kind of like style of thing, like the phone tree. So it automatically can transfer people to that particular extension. So I thought we might give it a quick call here. Live demos never fail.
Thanks for calling Greek Peak Mountain Resort and Hope Lake Lodge. This call may be recorded. I'm Alexandra. I am an automated attendant here to help. Is there something I can help you with, or is there a department at the resort I can transfer you to? If you know your party's extension, please press 8.
Hey, Alex, it's Mike. Do you guys have EV charging?
Yes, Mike. We do have EV chargers with L1 connections on site, conveniently located for our guests with electric vehicles to charge overnight.
Awesome. When's check-in?
Check-in time at Hope Lake Lodge is 4 p.m., and checkout is 11 a.m.
Can I bring my dog?
Hope Lake Lodge is not pet-friendly, except for certified service animals. But if you'd like to bring your pet, you can look into camping or RVing at our Hope Lake campground.
Awesome. Thanks. All right, gotta go.
You're welcome, Mike. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
So as you can see or hear, it's not perfect yet. You still can tell that it's not a human, but it was able to answer all my quick questions that I had without having to wait on hold, without having to talk to somebody that might not know the answer to all those questions if they're brand new. And then at any time, I didn't do it because that's live. They're actually using that at the resort right now. If I were to say like agent or human, or my back hurts, like it knows to upsell and recommend the spa. I get geeky about this stuff. It's like I think the next kind of step of AI is this conversational AI. And kind of a cool thing is it's $15 a month and 6 cents per minute, the bland. So does not break the bank. It can handle up to, I believe, like 50 simultaneous calls at the same time. So no having to like wait on hold or transfer to somebody else. Okay, so we've gone through a lot. Thank you for sticking around. I have a challenge for all of you. It's my 7-day AI challenge. So if you saw something here that you liked, or you're on like the free version of ChatGPT, get the paid version. It's $20. Try it for a month. If you don't like it, downgrade. But for the next 7 days, use it every single day for 7 days. Invite AI to every meeting. Use one of those kind of AI transcription tools to see if it saves you time on taking notes or not having to take notes. Build a custom GPT in that paid version of GPT. And then on day 8, shoot me an email. Let me know what you did with it. Or if you're like, no, Mike's full of crap, this AI stuff sucks, I also want to know that too. So maybe I can help kind of course correct and guide you in the right direction. And then we went over a lot of tools today. So if you ask for the slide deck, there's links throughout the meeting, the slide notes throughout. But then I have them all kind of easily linked here if you want to try them all out. And then if you want to deep dive into more learning, these are all 100% free courses from Google, Microsoft, Harvard, that you can really learn a lot more about how these tools work and how to use them properly. My 5-second plug, if you want me to come in and do an AI bootcamp or a workshop for you or your business, I have lots of customizations for this. Worked with lots of industries from travel and tourism to nonprofits to businesses, and would love to help you just learn how to take advantage of AI. If you are interested inside that, just shoot me an email or send me a text. And we have a couple minutes for some final questions. And while waiting for any questions, that's the slide you might have been waiting for. Just text Skynet to 802-865-2000 or shoot me an email and I'll send you the full slide deck and all the notes. Any final questions, thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, Mike, I had a question for you. I feel like something that I hear a lot about is the environmental consequences of AI. And I'm not sure where people are getting that information, if it's true if some AIs are less bad than others. I was wondering if you could talk on that a bit.
Yeah, so I will definitely be first to not have like specific accurate knowledge on it, other than like I heard at one point, like every time you type in a prompt and hit enter, it was like an 8-ounce thing of water worth of usage. Though as I've like dove into it deeper, it's not like that water just goes out the window. They have like a recycle system of that water for cooling. It's mostly the water cooling and the water usage. However, as more models come out, not that I'm really recommending that you use some of the new Chinese models that are coming out because there's major security concerns in their terms of service. However, they've figured out ways to do things at a fraction of the cost and a fraction of the energy that is like taking down our stock market with NVIDIA. But the reason I'm mentioning that is this tech is just going to get exponentially cheaper and more powerful with less environmental impact. But I'm also not naive to we don't need any more additional environmental impact right now with what's going on. But my wishful thinking is this will be more efficient in other areas that will maybe counteract that a bit. But very fair question. I just don't have as much info on it. Andy, I heard AI contributing 3% global greenhouse gas emissions. Comparatively, agriculture is 10. Yep. Yeah. The cows are, I'm sorry, I'm in Vermont, but like the cows are doing a lot of the damage. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns?
No real question, Mike. Just wanted to say thank you. Super informative, and yeah, I think a lot of actionable tools for folks to put in place, and just really exciting to see kind of how things have gone over the last couple of years and what things exponentially turn into over the months and years to come.
Right on. Thank you. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Like I said, shoot me a text if you have any questions. I geek out on this all the time, so if you just have a question or you're stuck, just drop me a line. Happy to chat. And thanks very much, Jeff and Tom, for having me.
Mike, thanks for joining us. This was super valuable, and thanks everybody who logged in to do a little learning this afternoon.
Right
Take
on.
care and have a good rest of the day.
Bye, everybody.